Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Good Wednesday, 2-1 and all. Boston got the breaks. They got the calls. Indy made the mistakes, plenty of those. And really gift turnovers, my gosh. And we now have a 1-0 lead by Boston. They are in the driver's seat in the first round series with the Eastern Conference title on the line. We're going to make golf picks today. It was a big week for Zach last week. However, he still will pick first. Johnny Lyon now leads in the year-long competition. And Penny Hardaway had a very interesting interview this past week, which he talked a little bit about his son, Ashton Hardaway, maybe even more important, about NIL and the craziness of all of that, particularly in light of the $2.7 billion settlement and 22% of revenues that with Power 5 schools means they'll start sharing $20 million of revenue each year with players. And Jason Munz will join us as he's now moved to Wednesdays with all of that. And we've got a new segment. Dennis Philippi is going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. I may be crazy. I thought Boston got every break last night. The free throw differential in that particular game, 30-10. They both were physical inside. I know Indy made big mistakes. Could have called the timeout where they couldn't get the ball. Of course, it's hard to get the ball in when your guy's getting held. Jaylen Brown got away with grabbing jerseys twice at critical times. But here's the biggest gift of all. It's the Rick Carlisle philosophy. I don't get it. I don't get any coach that, for whatever reason, doesn't believe in fouling when you're up 3 under 10 seconds. I don't understand. Play the free throw game and end it that way, especially since I don't think Boston had a timeout to use to enter the ball at half court. It's just crazy and maddening, and I got to give J.J. Redick a lot of credit. He pointed out all of the instances in the playoffs this year that Rick Carlisle, and I'm a big Rick Carlisle fan except for this philosophy, Rick Carlisle refuses to foul when he's up 3. And that's all he had to do. Now, I know you're going to say, you couldn't foul Brown in the corner when he caught the ball because then it could have been a 4-point play. I think when he's catching the ball, if you immediately foul as he's catching the ball, you're not getting the 3 shot. You're getting the 2. And you know what? The guy's only like a 68% free throw shooter. He's not the greatest free throw shooter in the world. So, anyway, Indy's coming back from behind. Boston's certainly the best team they faced. Boston's got to play better. They're not winning titles if they play the way they did last night. That is for sure. And, this is a young Indy team. They've been behind in other series, so we'll see how all of that will play out. That is for sure. Oh, and on the Colonial, which is coming up here, it's actually the Charles Schwab, right? But it is at the Colonial, which I have had the pleasure of playing and actually announcing it. They've redone it. Hogan's Alley has been redone. It's like, this is the craziest thing. It's a par 70, right? It's almost 7,300 yards long. So there've got to be several, like 450, 470 yard par 4s. I haven't looked at it. But it's crazy, and I'm not sure why they changed it. Like, they've changed everything. They've even changed 2 par 3s that you couldn't recognize. Because I always thought, I loved that golf course. It was such a classic, old-style golf course. But they did have to lengthen it a little bit because, let's face it, these guys are so long that like 480-yard par fours don't bother them. And the other thing is, I want to say that Bryson DeChambeau, who is an oddity, let's be honest, Bryson DeChambeau, I believe, hit a 269-yard six-iron. Six-iron! That's why they made those changes right there. That will tell it all. We're going to try a new thing here in a minute. I think you're all going to enjoy and like a lot. Dennis Philippi, the old sportscaster, comedian, communicator, I think that's the best way to put it, is going to join us here in just a minute. He's brought to you in part by Dinstall's. And I got to tell you, we have now got summer sizzling specials. They're back! It's that time. And Dinstall's is doing it with my favorite. For Memorial Day weekend, it's called Cashew Crunch. You know that. That's the fan favorite for many. At a very special price beginning tomorrow. Also, check out 2 new treats for the summer. Vanilla Pecan Fudge. You know they had the number 1 fudge in the world. It was voted that way. I'm not making that up. I have no idea what the vanilla is going to be like, but I guarantee you it's going to be terrific. And then there's something new to satisfy those sweet cravings. It's called Maple Walnut Fudge. So a couple of new fudges. And they're never fudge on the quality, I can tell you that. All stores will be closed Sunday and Monday to enjoy the holiday with friends and family. So starting tomorrow, get your Summer Sizzler special, all 5 locations. We start with downtown. We go to the suburbs in Germantown and Collierville, my neck of the woods in Laurelwood, and then where they make it on Pleasant View. It's back, the Summer Sizzling special, in this week. It is Cashew Crunch. Good morning, Dennis Philippi.
I was kidding.
No, you were serious.
I was kidding. I was kidding, everybody. I was having a beer with Dave. We were just talking, and I jokingly said, "Hey, you should have me on your show sometime." And he said, "Okay, how about Wednesday?" And I was like, "You mean this?
Yeah,
Wednesday?"
Right.
And he said he called my bluff. I was kidding. So I'm rusty. I haven't done sports in a long time, so I had to actually go back like I used to do and write out sports pieces.
Yeah.
Now, there's other stuff going on, of course, like you were talking about with Rick Carlisle. I'm distracted by Rick Carlisle because he looks like Jim Carrey in Me, Myself, and Irene.
He does.
And I can't stop thinking about it. But so what I've become, and this is why you should never have had me on, is because I've become casual sports fan with strong opinions. Like the person we all in sports hate the most.
But that's everybody.
No, you're an expert on this stuff. You start talking, I'm like, I don't even know who those guys are. But I'm the guy at the end of the game last night. I'm just screaming, foul. What is wrong with you? It was the second he touches the ball, foul. Don't give him time to be able to sell that he's shooting. Foul the guy. You're up. He can only score 2 points.
Correct.
If he goes to the foul line, and he's not likely to do that because not only is he like a 70% free throw shooter, all the pressure at that point. Everybody is just going, you will fail. And he's going to brick one of them. That's it. It's ball game. But again, I've just become that guy. I've become casual sports fan with strong opinions. But I've done research, my friend.
Research?
Research.
And you've written it out. I see.
I have written stuff.
And if you're watching on our many different ways to watch, yeah, you're on streaming, baby.
Well, see, I hate that because in recent years I have become.
You even have your name on your shirt just to remind you who you are. That's what I love.
I get lost.
Yeah,
I get lost. I get confused, and I hate being on camera because on camera I am much balder than I am in the mirror. When I see myself in the mirror, I look okay.
You're 20.
And then I see myself in a movie, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm bald. So, But talking about, as you were, the what's going on with the NIL and the transfer portal, see, the thing is that door was open before anybody ever really considered closing it, the transfer portal. I mean, I understand that it's because some guys weren't getting a chance to showcase their talent, to move on to the next level, So they were trying to make it easier for them, but then it just sort of became, guys jump from school to school. There's no penalty. I don't think that's exactly what the portal was supposed to be. You're like, oh, wait, you're not getting enough playing time at Clemson? Okay, well, transfer to West Virginia. Well, there's already a guy at West Virginia who's playing your position. Well, you're better. He can go to Kansas State, and both of you can play right away. But wait, there's the guy who was playing that position at Kansas State. Now he's got to find another team, another school to play for. It's like when you listen to college players' resumes now. Well, he started out at USC. And then they start listing, they're like, how many schools can these guys go to? It makes me crazy. Bo Nix had 61 starts. 61 starts at, Auburn and Oregon.
Yep.
61 starts. And people are still wondering if he can play professional football. He's been playing professional football. He hasn't been doing this for free. He's been playing high-level competition, and he's been being paid to do it. Now, the last time I subbed in for somebody on a sports talk show, and it's been a long time, I had written some stuff to talk about, but some knucklehead ball player got caught taking a couple of $1,000s from a booster, and so all anybody wanted to talk about is whether college players should be paid. And we all agreed, yes, they should be paid, and they should let the market decide, what the players are worth. A quarterback, obviously, is going to be worth more than a tennis player.
Could you believe a guy would be worth $13.85 million before he even took a snap?
No, I'm totally baffled by it. I'm completely lost by it.
And then he got sniffed.
But nobody really thought about the huge inequity between what money schools have, because, like, Louisiana Monroe is never going to be able to outbid LSU for a left tackle. They don't have the boosters who have that kind of money. And as rightly and wrong-headedly as college football was regulated, once they decided to go with NIL, the decision was just made to let rich boosters do whatever they want. You're a Texas fan and you own a bunch of car lots? Hey, get out there and start buying Longhorns for Texas. Only 12 states, this is true, only 12 states have not passed legislation to allow paying players. And every single one of those states has legislation pending to make it, because they're sick of being called stupid.
Or they only have Division II football, one or the other.
And they're sick of people saying, well, what, you don't want to win? You don't love college football? You got to pass this so you can buy, so people can buy players. I mean, remember, a lot of the same people that want to buy players for their teams are also paying for their legislators. You can't expect a state rep from Iowa to make ends meet on his congressional salary. They need that oil guy's money, too. See, now there's
Sports mirroring society. I love it.
Oh, it's just that nobody thought it through. They just said, okay, we're just going to start doing it, and we're not going to have any rules. Apparently.
And we still don't have rules. But now we're gonna have rules because we're going to share revenue.
But there's still there's no scale. I mean, you don't go into college going, okay, well, this is what a center's going to make. This is what a quarterback's going to make. It's how much does this real estate developer want to pay?
That's true.
To have this guy go to Oklahoma.
On the very serious note, the group of four, now the Power Four, they're going to end up sharing 22% of the revenues. That's going to come out to about $20 million per school.
Right.
How they divvy that out, I have no idea. No one knows at this moment. There will be something that will be figured out along the way. That won't stop that landscaper that you just mentioned to still pay guys. So more money than just $20 million will come into play. What I want to know is, of the $20 million, it's $10 million going to go to the women because we have Title IX, and where's that funding from the revenue stream going to go?
I think that it will. I think they'll follow Title IX on that money. But the other money, the money just from a guy who inherited a bunch of money, that's unregulated. He could just say, a guy who really loves the University of Memphis, he's not going to give money.
Sign my T-shirt, I'll give you $1 million.
And he's not going to be giving money to the tennis team. He's not going to give money to the swimming team, and he's not going to give money to women's sports.
Well, and if you're giving away, let's just say Memphis agrees to give away 22% of their revenue stream, which isn't going to approach what the Power Five at this time is, they got to make cuts somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. So is that tennis team still going to exist?
That's the question. Now, and by the way, I did write about Caitlin Clark And then last night I was thinking about what I had written, and I realized it was horribly sexist. Because basically what I said was, could you maybe look like you're enjoying yourself? Because
it's hard to enjoy yourself when you're 0-4. Although she's making millions.
She's making millions. And that's the thing. You're a superstar, you're making millions. But what it basically came down to, as I was saying, little lady, if you put a smile on your face, you'd be a lot prettier. Like, okay, that's an incredibly sexist take. So I decided not to do that one.
You sound like the Kansas City kicker.
Well, apparently, the Kansas City Chiefs have decided to just kind of let their players celebrate their Super Bowl win however they want. You could get into a 6-car wreck at 119 miles an hour, send a bunch of people to the hospital.
And leave the scene.
Then get into a bar fight, sending another guy to the hospital. We're, of course, talking about Rashee Rice, the wide receiver. After the wreck, some people went to the hospital. He spent a couple of days cooling his heels before he got into a fight in a nightclub. And a guy went to the hospital with the swollen face. And that guy, I don't know if you saw this, is refusing to press charges.
Wow.
I think
wonder how much money he got.
I think he probably got a signed jersey.
Yeah.
That's probably And then
for that same million price.
And then Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker, which I imagine was a really fun name to have in junior high. Harrison Butker was invited to speak at Benedictine College. It's an evangelical Christian school. And as everyone heard, he let it be known that, in his opinion, women exist mainly to make and take care of babies while keeping a tidy household for their husband. Now, he also went after the LGBTQ community, but they don't represent half of the population, the half that gets really angry at being characterized as walking wombs, which is more or less what this guy said. Right. That's what he said. I mean, look, he's welcome to have his opinion. He's welcome to express his opinion. Right. But
he's also welcome to be chastised for it.
Well, it may be a private school, but it's never private. As we have to remind athletes constantly, there are always cameras. But here's the thing, Dave. Setting all that aside, who books a kicker as a speaker? He's a kicker. He's a kicker. If the kicking game were eliminated from football tomorrow, most football
like the UFL does on their extra points.
Exactly. Most football fans would just go, I never really got the kicking game to begin with. I mean, how many times have we seen a big game come down to the foot of a guy whose teammates don't even consider him a football player? They don't think of the kicker as a football player. He's just the guy at the end of the bench that nobody ever talks to. I mean, at least punters occasionally throw a block. I mean, this guy, he kicks off a tee. Why would you book that guy as a speaker? Benedictine could have scared up like a Christian long snapper. I mean, at least he's an actual football player. Butker is,
Well, he uses his feet, and this time he put his foot in his mouth.
Because he's a Butker.
He's a Butker.
That's the problem.
Last thing. Scotty Scheffler. What? What's the deal?
I have some questions about Scotty Scheffler's arrest over the week. I also have some questions about his short game and his choice of shirts, but that's for another time. According to Louisville police, Scheffler, he got a little impatient with the stop-and-go traffic caused by a fatal accident. So he decided to take a shortcut through a Louisville cop. Okay, that's an exaggeration. But apparently the officer tried to stop Scheffler, and he got dragged a few yards. It hurt his hand. He hurt his knee. And nobody can say...
He split his pants.
And no, exactly. Did you see that the pants were irreparable?
I saw that. $80 worth, too. My goodness.
And that is quality polyester blend. This is quality stuff. No one knows exactly how he got dragged because there's no footage of it. And this is what drives me crazy. I just said there are cameras everywhere.
I know.
I just said it. But somehow this cop's body cam was not turned off.
Right.
Why does a police officer's body cam have an off switch? Once you're on duty, it should not be able to be turned off. And people go, well, what if he wants to go to the bathroom? Who's going to watch that footage?
Take the camera off when you pee.
No. People only watch body cam footage if there's a reason to. Nobody's just watching it all day. Oh, boy, I'm going to have to watch this cop go to the bathroom. No, nobody's going to be seeing that. It shouldn't ever be. No. So was he holding the door handle? Because it seems
he jumped on the car.
I mean, at some point, you're going to let go.
We don't have the cameras yet. Somebody out there's got to. They have a
You
fixed
think?
camera, they think. I don't know. But I know this. Eyewitnesses say Scotty Scheffler was directed around the bus, told to go on the median, where this cop, who didn't know the other cop had directed him, jumped on the car.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Jeff Darlington, the ESPN reporter, said, attached himself to the car. How do you attach yourself to a car?
Well, not very firmly because
Obviously.
he fell off and got dragged. But the most important question here is, and this happens all the time, why is a millionaire athlete driving a car? It's stupid.
It was a courtesy car.
It doesn't make any difference. Don't get behind the wheel of a car. Hire a driver. Make him liable. Make his company liable. Save your money. If you're rich and you're driving, you're stupid because you're just asking for trouble. You barely tap somebody and they're coming after you for everything you got. It's stupid. And plus, Scotty has a terrible short game.
Some weeks.
Some
weeks.
Okay,
Some weeks he's pretty good.
He's uneven.
Some
Let's
weeks.
just put it that way. He's a
pretty
little
good.
uneven.
In fact, if I have a chance to pick him this week, I am going to pick him. Golf picks are coming up. Dennis, we'll see you next Wednesday.
All right, it's
Thank
a
you
treat.
very much. I
Thank you,
appreciate
David.
it. That is Dennis.
Thanks, everybody.
Philippi, he is sitting with me in the Family Leisure Studios.
And I was
where,
kidding. By the way, I was kidding when I said I wanted to come on the show. But I'm glad to be here.
well, and you signed a lifetime contract. Factory direct pricing coming your way on swimming pools, spas, and, of course, that brand-new patio furniture. It's in. Go see them. That's I-40 and Whidden Road. Turn left, go a few blocks, and look to the right, and you'll see this palace with all these deals where you can save $1,000 to $5,000 off spas and swim spas. I'm not kidding. It's a deal at Family Leisure. Back in a minute, we make our golf picks on the Colonial, or really called the Charles Schwab. That comes your way in just a minute.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I've got Jason, the main man marshal, here, and he's ready to start something big at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. What's up, Jace?
Randy, I've got 42 MPG on the highway on the all-new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for only $249 a month. Or take your pick from the 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or 2024 Taos SE. We got it at $279.28 a month.
That's a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month. Or take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
And Randy, you know the deal. Make me an offer because no reasonable offer will be refused.
Ask for Jason, the main man marshal, at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike. Online, GossettVWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
All 36 monthly, 7,500 miles per year. Taos RMO 51756, MSRP 26063. Tiguan RM 103,910, MSRP 31,363. Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25,506. Cross Sport RC 23,6449, MSRP 38,981. Includes $3,000 rebate. Cannot be provided with special APR. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes pack, file, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. With approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir. It's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get preseason pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hot wings. What's your favorite flavor? The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 32 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Crazy Lemon Twist, a savory, zesty, and citrusy taste of fresh lemon twist. The Jalapeno Cheddar, an acidic and spicy flavor completed with a burst of sharp cheddar. Or Crazy Sweet Heat, tangy sweetness followed by the heat. And that's just 3 of the amazing 32 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the Crazy Coop Special. Choose from 3 whole wings or 6 party wings, fries, and drink, all for just $9.99. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Come join your Memphis Showboats for our annual Hats Off to Heroes game on Sunday, May 26th at 1:30. All game long, we'll be honoring military members, first responders, healthcare workers, and teachers. If that's not enough to get to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, then we'll also throw in a free grill spatula with an etched Showboats logo while supplies last. On top of all this, tickets start at just $10 and are available at theufl.com. Memphis versus DC, Sunday, May 26th at 1:30. Go Boats!
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
The PGA Championship at Valhalla was so much fun to watch. Xander finally gets his very first major championship. I think there's a couple others that will end up on his resume before his career is out. We had Scotty Scheffler stuff occur. We made picks. It was a big week for Zach, but he's still in last place. I am second to last. We've got to change at the top. Johnny is back to picking last. He was the guy that now leads the top of the leaderboard with money earned so far. Golf picks brought to you by Memphis Parks, the Memphis Public Links. You go to memphispubliclinks.com. You can see all that is happening, plus make tee times. It's all so easy. And they got so many different tournaments this year. It always starts like with the Galloway Championship. I know I'm taking my aim at the title at the parent-child tournament at Overton Park on June the 15th. Mickey Barker, I'm going to start with you. How many championships does Memphis City Golf have this year?
Right now, we're running about 13 events for this year. Yeah, it's a big-time schedule.
You know what I love about it, seriously? You get to really kind of compete at the level that you play at. So you learn how to play with pressure. You learn how to play down. You learn how you have to putt the ball into the hole. I think you really become a better player when you compete in these things. And don't put that much pressure on yourself to be great and successful at first, but learn about it. 13 chances, that's great, Mickey Barker.
It is. And you really can learn to play the game, learn to put a score on a card. You know, we had golfers at the Galloway Championship. We had 108 players signed up. I think we ended up playing 106 with all of the bad weather that we had and the delays. And we had scores that ranged from 64, 6 under par, to 106. And everybody had a great time. You know, we played in about 4 hours and 15 minutes throughout the day. It was a great day, and we had all levels of players. So, really, really good outing.
You got that parent-child. You got the 76th OP Junior Open coming up later in the summer. You always have the Memphis Amateur Championship sometime in July. Really, really good stuff. Let me bring in Johnny Lyon. And Johnny, How many majors do you think Xander Schauffele will end up with on his resume? Because there's so many great players out there, but he was the best last weekend in Louisville. Good morning.
Good morning. I called in last week from Fighting Joe, and everybody there was telling me to pick Xander, which I guess I should have, but Bryson played extraordinarily well and could have won it. With all the things that were going on, Rory's divorce, Scotty's arrest, there was a lot of crazy things going on the PGA Tour last week. I think Xander will win a couple of more. I don't really think he's going to win more than 5 in his career.
Well, 5 would be amazing, and not many people have won 5. So that would be quite the accomplishment. I don't know, because the fields are so deep if he'll get there. I must confess, Mickey, I'm not a DeChambeau fan, but the dude has been the best of all the live players in these major tournaments, better than Brooks Koepka. Obviously, Dustin Johnson on the backslide. Phil Mickelson is in his 50s, for goodness sake. Cam Smith has not played that well in these things, and Rahm didn't even make the cut. I think we got to tip our cap to DeChambeau, as much as I hate to do that.
I think so, too. And the one thing that I noticed of watching the golf throughout the weekend was that obviously he was playing the best, but he was the one smiling. He was the one that seemed like he was having a good time. He was laughing. He took care of the kid that he tried to throw the golf ball to, and
right.
The adult snatched it in front of him. So, I give him credit for that. For all his faults, it's must-watch TV with DeChambeau. So a lot of credit goes to him.
Yeah. Scheffler, Johnny, has won 2 majors. They've both been at Augusta. I'm not saying he's not going to win a bunch more. I'm not saying he's not number 1 in the world, but doesn't he have to win a major away from Augusta National to really prove it?
He does, and I think he will. I mean, he was definitely the favorite, before the arrest. He did come out and shoot 5 under after he was arrested.
That was incredible.
Bologna sandwich.
Yeah.
He got his bologna sandwich, which is just the whole story is unbelievable.
It is. And then he goes out and he birdies the first hole, and they called that a jailbird.
The whole beginning of the tournament was bizarre, and of course I really was out of town, and playing golf, and I wasn't really up on Rory getting a divorce, which is kind of a shocker to a whole lot of people.
I think so. Yeah.
And you're not going to play that well, when there's all that pressure.
Well, I don't know. He won his last 2 starts, and the divorce discussion was in the wind then, for sure.
Right, yeah. But after the announcement, he didn't win. So, he sort of, he played pretty good the last day, just so did Scotty, but he definitely wasn't the man. He couldn't make a putt. Just like his normal deal, he drove the ball pretty well, but couldn't make the putts. But I totally agree with Mickey that DeChambeau was the only guy out there really smiling. Xander never cracks a smile. He's not that much fun to watch, but he does have a good golf swing, and he did win it. So you got to tip your hat to him.
In the 1985 golf season, I had the opportunity not only to play Colonial several times when I worked in Dallas for a year, but we broadcast the Byron Nelson and the Colonial. And I loved Hogan's Alley. I loved that golf course. Mickey Barker, they've made significant changes. I think a lot of it has to do with just sheer length, because what did DeChambeau hit a 269-yard 6-iron? It's just crazy, nutso stuff that these guys are able to hit with length. But your take on all the changes, it's still, now it's long. It's a par 70, and it's still almost 7,300 yards. That's crazy long.
Right, it is long, but length really doesn't matter to those guys. That's not an issue for them. They could play 8,000 yards, and it wouldn't make much of a difference. what makes a difference is when the fairways are firm and the ball bounces out of the fairway. That's when it starts to be difficult for them. Like last week, that golf course was right at 7,800 yards, and they shot 21 under par.
I know.
So with fairly deep rough. But if that ball was bouncing out of the fairway into the rough, and Vander said the same thing, became a shootout. If the fairways in Texas are firm this week, we might see the wind be 12 to 15 under, somewhere in that neighborhood.
All right. Well, let's make some picks. Zach has made a move. How close are you to me?
I am a little less than $3 million behind.
3 million behind? What does Johnny got? How far behind are you from Johnny?
It's like 5 million.
5 million? All right. Well, we got a long way to go. We're only through 2 majors. You get to start. This field is not quite the same field as we've seen in the last 2 weeks where you had a signature and then a major, but there are some pretty good players. There's no doubt about that. Who are you going with on your first pick here?
Let's keep the good times rolling. Let's go with Colin Morikawa.
Morikawa? Wow. That means you're giving me Scotty Scheffler. I am not passing that up.
It's okay.
Mickey.
Well, I didn't figure either one of those guys would be still on the list, but my next on the list would be he played pretty well last week. I'm going to go with Tony Finau.
Good pick. Johnny?
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to pick Tom Kim.
You know what? That is a great. He's for whatever reason. And I know we all look at the power ratings on PGAtour.com, which is what we should do. We're smart, but they didn't have him at all in the top 15, which is amazing. This dude is going to have a run. Maybe it'll start this week. I think that's a great pick. That leaves you next, there, Mr. Zach.
Max Homa.
Good pick. I don't think I want to go with Harris English. I don't want to go with. I'm going to go out of the box myself here. I'm going to go with Billy Horschel, who's done well here.
Good pick. He played really well last week. He should be playing well.
Yeah.
So the next on my list was Jordan Spieth or Harris English. Do I think English is going to beat Spieth over the week? I think he probably will. I'll take Harris English.
Okay, good pick. Johnny?
Okie dokie. Let's see who's left.
Got a lot left.
I'm going to take a long shot and go with Robert McIntyre.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were either going Robert McIntyre or you were going to go Denny McCarthy. There was no doubt in my mind.
Okay. Take a long shot every once in a while.
Yeah, you can afford to. All right. Zaxter?
Let's go with Keegan Bradley.
Keegan Bradley, wow. That's out of the box. God, I was thinking about Brian Harmon because I didn't think this guy would be here. I'm going to go Justin Rose. He's playing well.
Good pick there. He was on my list. So now I get them both. I'll take Jordan Spieth.
I don't trust him, especially at home. Last pick. You want to put down Denny McCarthy?
No, I'm going to take Aaron Ray.
Wow. Aaron, it's Rye, isn't it? R-A-I? That's who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron Rye. All right. Here is what we got. Zach's got Colin Morikawa, Max Homa, Keegan Bradley. I've got Scotty Scheffler, Billy Horschel, Justin Rose. Mickey has Tony Finau, Harris English, and Jordan Spieth. Johnny's got Tom Kim, Robert McIntyre, and Aaron Rai. Those are the picks. Gentlemen, thank you for your participation. We'll do this again next Wednesday.
Thanks, Dave. See you soon.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. That is the picks brought to you by Memphis Public Golf and by the Eflin Insurance Company, the team of guys that really they're collaborators. They sit down and they get to know you, what's important to you, all about your family, what your budget is. And then they find the perfect automobile insurance, mortgage insurance, or life insurance for your future. They take care of you. They make you secure by getting to know you. They do the same thing with small to mid-sized businesses. That's kind of their expertise. They're going to get to know your product. They're going to get to know your employees. Of course, you, what's important, forecast your business out a little bit, figure out what your budget is, and they find the perfect commercial insurance. All you got to do is call 901-386-4777. That spells out GER because they are major Tiger supporters. 901-386-GER. Get protected the collaborative way. Get insured by the Eflin Insurance Team. Back in just a minute. Munzie on the Tigers. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Collierville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshot's 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Collierville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG 510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
There's always something going on in the world of Tiger basketball. Nobody covers it better than our friend Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. He's on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. There's always something going on, right? Well, we heard for the first time in a while, at least since the little Tiger tour that started off in Collierville, from Penny Hardaway. It was on a podcast. He addressed a few things we hadn't heard before, including the transferring of his own son, Ashton Hardaway, to St. Mary's. Good morning. Your take on the podcast.
I thought it was really good. I thought Evan Turner and Andre Iguodala are the co-hosts, and it was the first time I watched that podcast, and it was really good. Both sides were good. It was the questions were good, the answers were good. But yeah, I thought probably the most revealing part of it that had anything to do with Tiger basketball was what Penny had to say about Ashton transferring. And he kind of. I'll just read you exactly what he said. He said, "I don't think." Talking about Ashton, he said, I don't think he was ever comfortable here because we kind of forced it, and I felt kind of guilty for that because it's probably not where he wanted to come. I think he wanted to make me proud to come here, but he's trying to create his own path, and I definitely support that. That was one of the things that he said about the whole Ashton Hardaway, his son leaving after one season, and he played in I think 30 games or more, but he only played like 8 minutes a game, and it just never felt like a good fit here for him, and so yeah, like it was good to finally get Penny's thoughts and feelings on that situation.
The part where he said we kind of forced it both ways, right?
Right.
The kid grew up in California, and he started off pretty good. I mean, remember the game in the Bahamas? What was it, Arkansas, where he Michigan, where he hit all those threes in a little stretch and actually really helped win that game.
He did.
And he made the comment about it. He first of all, he thinks the kid can be a pro. And then he said that St. Mary's free-flowing, whatever that really means, would be more suitable than the style that Penny wants to play. Part of it for me, and I like the kid. I don't want to demean him at all. And he should get to go where he feels most comfortable. And he's a California kid. But defensively is where he really had shortcomings. He could not guard. So I said this before, that he was going to have to figure out, does he want to be a 3? Because he's big enough to be a 4. He needed to gain weight to be a very effective 4, and he could still be a step-out three-point shooting 4. But if he was really going to be a 3 and had to defend that position, he had to lose weight because he was too heavy to guard that position. And I don't know what they'll do at St. Mary's with him. But, I kind of felt like the reason he lost PT, Penny was never going to say this about his son, was he couldn't defend.
Yes. I think there are going to have to be some decisions made about his future. Like they're going to have to pick one or the other. So is he a 3, is he a 4? And really lean into whatever the decision is, got to lean into it hard. Because either way, he's got some work to do. Whether he's going to have to put on weight and become, stronger and bigger and all that stuff to play the 4, or whether he wants to be more of a 3 and lose weight and become more mobile. Those were. It just seemed like there was a little bit of an identity crisis. Plus the fact that he was a true freshman on a team full of more experienced guys. Again, they admitted it, like this Penny's system and his philosophies and everything else, his schemes, didn't really suit the way Ashton, was as a true freshman. So I think it was good. It was good for both sides to separate and move on.
You do feel bad for Penny because I think it was joyous for him to have both his
I
sons
agree.
playing for him. I know he's enjoyed having Jaden around these last few years. And I'm sure Jaden got to know Ashton a whole lot better because they grew up differently. One in Florida, one in California.
Right.
So that was probably a positive. We've seen other players' sons, a coach's sons, transfer. It's kind of a new thing, I guess. But I feel bad for him in that way. But he was honest about it in this interview. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was. And then he talked a little bit about NIL and how crazy that can get nowadays. I thought it was really he got kind of animated when he talked about how the negotiations can sort of sometimes spiral out of control. He said more often than not when the negotiations begin and they start talking about NIL with certain players, it starts off good. And then as you get closer and closer to, some sort of final decision or final whatever, some of these players will try to up the ante by like $200,000 or $300,000 more on top of what they had already discussed money wise. And Penny kind of laughed and said that it can get pretty. Sometimes he feels like he wants to, say to these guys, "Hey, you're not exactly Andre Iguodala yet." They talked a little bit about how interesting the dynamics can become when the players are making more than some of the assistant coaches, and that's really something that hasn't really been talked about.
Right.
When you put it in that context, it does make things. You wonder, what the dynamics are. Really, truly are on the inside when that's the case. But also talked about the transfer portal and how he hopes and expects the NCAA to eventually sort of tamp down the chaos. There was 2,000 or 3,000 players in the transfer portal this year at one point, or all total. And so he said, he hopes that the NCAA will kind of wrap its arms around it and get a hold of that before it keeps going, before it gets any crazier. But so yeah, it was a really, really.
I don't
good
see that
interview.
changing, honestly. I think unless you sign like a 2-year deal, right? I mean, if you sign a contract, and this is where everything's going to change, and I don't know what's going to happen for Memphis, but we've all been reading about the $2.7 billion lawsuit, right? Won by the former players. This thing goes back a decade, 10 years. They're going to pay $2.7 billion to those players, and they're going to start to give, and there's going to be a vote on all of this in the next week or so. College athletics is going to change after 2025, where you can give 22% of your revenue, total revenue, to the players. 22%. For the Power 5 school or Power 4 schools, that comes to about $20 million a school. Memphis doesn't get $50 or $60 million like the SEC and the Big Ten do from their television deals, and that was just released. They're in the Big Ten makes the most money. SEC is second, at least for now. That was last year's numbers. Memphis doesn't get that, so 22% for them, if that's the way they go, isn't going to be anywhere near that. How are they going to compete from that portal backlog of players with money? That's the tough part.
Yeah, you're right, and it's already kind of lopsided. I mean, it. I don't know the way the landscape seems to change with the season, with the weather. It feels like, some way, somehow, there's going to be something else in a few months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, whatever, that will help mitigate whatever imbalance is created with this proposed settlement. like this proposal that you're talking about. It does feel like the way things are going, the seesaw is gonna tip back. It's not going. They're going to be able to mitigate it somehow with some sort of new legislation or some sort of new something. But yeah, no, it does feel like on the surface that this is going to benefit. The rich are going to get richer, and the rest are going to have to get creative, continue to stay creative.
Or get into the Power Four with a television contract that allows you to pay that kind of money. Penny got Moussa Cisse. That's the last guy. I think he signed his letter of intent. Is everybody going to be here on June the 1st? That was Penny's hope. I think you've written about it in the mailbag that's about to come out.
Yeah, published a couple hours ago. Penny had said that he hoped to get the majority of the team, the majority of the roster, on campus by June 1st. Obviously, there are still at least 3 open scholarships, 4 if David Jones does not come back. And so from that, I don't see them filling the open scholarships, all of them, certainly not all of them, by June 1st in the next week. I don't see that happening, although maybe 1 or 2, but I doubt it. I think they're kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern with the David Jones situation. He has until May 29th, a week from today, to decide what he's going to do, whether he's going to come back or he's going to stay in the draft. So I think they're kind of waiting on that before they do anything else with the roster. But I have spoken to almost all of the newcomers, the incoming guys, and there are a couple of them who I have not gotten confirmation from yet. Moosa's one of them, but the majority of them I have talked to, and they have told me that they will be here not only by June 1st, this weekend. So
that's great.
So like you're talking about PJ Haggerty told me he's going to be here. Colby Rogers, Dane Danger, Tyreek Smith, Jared Harris, the freshman. I'm expecting Tyrese Hunter to be. I expect them all to be here this weekend.
That's a good start.
That's
a good
excellent.
start. All right, in 30 seconds, because we're really out of time. Your gut feel, is David Jones coming back?
I have to think so. I talked to a handful of people who were at the Combine themselves, saw firsthand his performance, and got their sort of informed analysis and opinion about what they think he's going to do or should do, and based on what kind of opportunities they think he'll get. And it just seems like it's going to be a very, very risky proposition if he decides to stay in the draft. I think, to me, it seems like he's going to be back.
I hope so. That'll be great for Memphis, no doubt about that. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Thanks, Wolo. You too.
That's Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal, brought to you by Grind City Brewing. I know he appreciates Grind City's product. He loves the Pills. That's Poppy's Pills, the Pilsner. The Pale Ale, I don't know how he likes the Godhopper. I know that I like it. I like the lager, the Amber Lager Thaddeus. There's the Tiger Tail. That's their craft malt liquor that is pretty unique and has got a little extra kick. And then if you like Blue Moon, they got the Belga. That's the Belgian-style wheat ale. You'll love the grounds just north of downtown with the view of downtown Memphis and the bridges, a great view of the M Bridge. Concerts and a whole lot on those gorgeous picnic grounds, picnic tables with the umbrellas, and go inside and get the product. There's everything to love about Grind City Brewing. They've been taking care of beerness in Memphis now for a long, long time. That'll do it for us. We're back tomorrow. In the meantime, Johnny Radio is right around the corner. Have a great day, everybody.